In today's video, we're going to take a look at the first car to roll out on Ford's Panther platform. Now, Ford had spent over $1 billion in research and development of this vehicle, and in July of 1978, they began to build a new downsized LTD. Now, this is a car that will eventually become the LTD Crown Victoria, and most of us that were alive in the 80s and 90s and into the early 2000s, we rode in one of these cars, and not because we had purchased one. They were used by cab companies. They were used by police departments. Fire departments used them. The military used them for staff cars. They were seen in every Hollywood production, whether it be a TV show or a movie. This car was everywhere in that time frame. So let's take a look back at what eventually would become the LTD Crown Victoria, a car that Ford sold 750,000 of in just 4 short years.
The 79 Ford LTD Landau, luxury with a conscience. It permits you to be self-indulgent without being a drain on the planet. The plush LTD is shorter than last year, but it actually has more leg room. And front disc brakes, a marvelous ride in such things as standard. The Ford LTD. Elegance and luxury that come with a conscience as standard equipment.
The 79 Ford LTD is one of the new era of Fords. Test drive one at your local Ford dealer now.
Ford introduces a new wagon for the American road. The all-new LTD Country Squire for $79. A new wagon with more driver convenience, more handling ease, more window area, and more passenger room than last year's Country Squire.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
The all-new Ford LTD Country Squire for $79. See it at your Ford dealer now.
In September of 1978, Ford launched its new downsized LTD as a 1979 model. Built on the new Panther platform, this car was a full 15 inches shorter and almost 800 pounds lighter than the previous year's LTD. It featured body-on-frame construction, a double wishbone independent front suspension, a live rear axle, coil springs at all 4 corners, front disc brakes, and drum rear. The new LTD featured a larger passenger compartment with more head, leg, and shoulder room than the larger outgoing LTD, and Ford repositioned the car's fuel tank behind the rear axle, allowing for a deep well, low lift-over trunk that provided more cargo space. The LTD was available as a 2- or 4-door sedan or as a station wagon. The new LTDs featured a squared-off look with sharper edges while retaining the long hood, short deck look of the previous LTD. There were 2 trim levels of LTD available, the base model or the upscale models being the Landau in a 2- or 4-door or the Squire in a wagon. The front of the Landau or Squire wagons featured 4 side-by-side halogen-sealed beam headlamps positioned above an amber turn signal indicator and beside the side marker/turn signal lamps, a large egg crate-style grille, and a large chrome bumper. The base models featured 2 large square halogen headlamps, a large egg crate-style grille with driving lamps, wraparound side marker/turn signal indicators, and a large chrome bumper. The rear of the LTD featured 2 larger parking lamps/turn signal indicators positioned above the backup lights. These flanked the deck lid of the car. The standard power plant for the LTD was the 130 horsepower, 302 cubic inch, 5-liter V8. The optional power plant was the 140 horsepower, 351 cubic inch, 5.8-liter V8, and this engine was standard in the wagons. Both power plants were mated of Ford's C4 3-speed automatic transmission. Standard features on the LTD base model sedans included power steering and brakes, an inside hood release, 14-inch steel-belted radial tires, the LTD sound insulation package, and a cloth and vinyl knit bench seat. The Landau sedan standard features added an electric clock, rear door courtesy light switches, rear pillar coach lamps, a left-hand remote mirror, bright window frames and wheel lip moldings, a wide rocker panel molding, an accent panel on the lower deck lid, and a hood ornament. Standard wagon features included a fold-down rear seat, a 3-way magic door gate with a power window, lockable storage compartments, and a conventional spare tire. Standard on the Squire was the wood tone and vinyl appliques on the sides and rear of the car, cargo area lights, and an electric clock. Ford threw many options at this car. Popular options included a reclining flight bench seat or a split bench seat in either cloth or vinyl seating surfaces, 6-way power seat, select air conditioning with automatic temperature control, an electronic clock, dual remote mirrors, front cornering lamps, an electric rear defroster, tinted glass, power windows and locks, speed control, tilt wheel, multiple audio systems, with the top of the line being an AM/FM stereo with quadrasonic 8-track tape player or an AM/FM cassette player, rocker panel moldings, metallic glow paint, two-tone paint, either a Landau vinyl roof, which was standard on the Landau, or a full vinyl roof, multiple wheel covers, bumper guards, and illuminated visor mirrors. Towing options included a heavy-duty battery, adjustable level air shocks, a heavy-duty suspension with higher capacity springs and shock absorbers, an optional axle ratio, or one could opt for the heavy-duty trailer package, which gave the LTD a 6,000-pound tow rating and included trailer towing suspension and frame, a heavy-duty cooling package, heavy-duty rear brakes, and a special wiring harness. LTDs were offered as fleet vehicles, with Ford offering a taxicab and law enforcement versions of the LTD. Due to the size, versatility, and fuel economy, the LTD immediately became a popular choice in both of these market segments. The automotive media instantly drew comparisons to the Chevy Caprice, and with good reason, as these cars looked very similar. Most found the LTD to be a slightly better car in almost every meaningful category. While the American economy was hardly on stable ground in 1979, the new downsized LTD proved to be a hit with the American public as well as with fleet buyers. Ford dealers delivered 356,535 LTDs in the 1979 model year.
Let me tell you about one quiet car, the 1980 Ford LTD. In test, an LTD rode quiet as a Rolls Royce, and this LTD has a dandy new engineering feature. One that can give you extra miles per gallon. Ford calls it automatic overdrive. I call it incredible. No other American car maker has it. With automatic overdrive option, no full-size car beats LTD's 8-cylinder estimated MPG. Ford LTD. Quiet as a Rolls Royce. Give a listen at your Ford dealer.
1980 was mostly a carryover year, however, there were some changes. The Landau name as the top trim level was dropped and replaced with the revived Crown Victoria label. The base model became the S, and Ford introduced the automatic overdrive as an option for either the 302 or 351 V8 engines. Ford's aluminum turbine wheels were added as an option, and the Crown Victorias received a brushed aluminum trim piece that ran over the roof and down the B-pillar. This acted as a separation line for the Landau vinyl roof. Ford began to market the LTD Crown Victoria as the upscale Ford offering, stating that, and I quote here, "It is as quiet as a Rolls Royce." There were no other changes of note. Ford dealers delivered 141,562 LTDs for the 1980 model year. 1981 brought minor revisions to the LTD. The S model became the fleet car designation, leaving the base LTD and the LTD Crown Victoria and the Country Squire wagon as the upscale models. The 4.2-liter 255 cubic inch V8 was introduced as the standard engine for the two-door sedans, and the 5-liter became the standard engine for wagons. The 5-liter and 5.8-liter V8 remained as options, and the 5-liter received an optional throttle body fuel injection. The front bumpers became one solid unit, losing the lower vents. The front license plate mount was moved and was now found on the driver's side below the headlamps. The side view mirrors were removed from the A-pillar and returned to a door mount and were positioned a little bit further back on the car. There were no other changes of note. Ford dealers delivered 132,363 LTDs for the 1981 model year. The 1982 model year brought a few changes to the LTD. The Ford lettering on both the grille and trunk lid were replaced with the Ford blue oval emblem. Ford's automatic overdrive transmission became the standard transmission, and Ford added its trip computer as optional equipment. Ford dropped the 5.8-liter 351 cubic inch V8 engine from its retail lineup, however, it was still available for police cars. This would be the last year of production for this generation of LTD. Ford dealers delivered 128,053 LTDs for the 1982 model year.
The car's got a lot of pickup. It's got a cop motor. It's got cop tires, cop suspension, cop shocks. What do you say? Is it the new Bluesmobile or what? Fix a cigarette lighter.
Throughout its entire production, Ford produced optional packages for the LTD, optimizing it for use as a police car. The LTD with the police package featured a reinforced frame, heavy-duty high-rate front and rear springs, heavy-duty front and rear stabilizer bars, a 60-amp alternator, a heavy-duty front seat, a 71-amp-hour battery, heavy-duty 15 by 6.5-inch rims, and GR70 15-inch special radial tires. Other changes were made to accommodate police equipment. These included heavy-duty interior materials, provision for additional lights and sirens, and a 140-mile-per-hour speedometer. 1983 would bring change to the Ford vehicle lineup. The LTD nameplate was transferred to the mid-size car that took the place of the 1982 Ford Granada, and many people thought the full-sized LTD was just going to go away. Ford decided the sales were good enough to let it soldier on, and they gave it its own vehicle line, the LTD Crown Victoria. Now we're going to cover the LTD Crown Victoria and the sister car to this car, the Mercury Grand Marquis, in another video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. That helps other folks see it. Also consider subscribing. I've got plenty of content like this on the channel. This video over here deals with the first 2 generations of Ford LTD. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.